I definitely did not have a childhood. Being so young, seeing my mom like fight with other moms was like really crazy. I don't think I ever really like came to terms with how I felt about the whole thing until I got out of it. I think I started going to therapy when I was 14 because I thought I was the only one dealing with this, and I would disassociate a lot. All of the cast members, like we all kind of deal with that type of anxiety and mental health things, and yeah, it's all from the show. We loved dance so much, but when you do it so much, it was definitely hard. I lost my love for dance really early on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Squeeze.
Woot woot.
I'm Taylor.
I'm also Taylor.
And this is Remy.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. How are we all doing?
Yeah, maybe we like take a moment to just like breathe in and out. Oh.
Rem, it's okay.
Remy did not take a moment to breathe in and out.
No, Rem, you need to breathe in slowly. Hold 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. 4 seconds out.
Yeah.
Okay. She's not listening.
Yeah, she's not.
Well, I hope you are.
Yes. I felt like that made me feel a little better. We have a fun episode today.
Yes, we do.
Miss Kenzie herself, Kenzie Ziegler. I'm very excited about this episode. She's like our adopted daughter. I feel like I love her.
Yeah, she was great. I know this is going to shock all of you, but I did grow up watching Dance Moms, so I was a big fan of the show. So I was pretty excited for this chat and get to finally meet Kenzie, and did not disappoint. I will tell you that.
Yeah, it was really cool. We got to talk with her just about like being on a reality show at such a young age.
She started at 6.
Like it's crazy what she kind of like had to go through.
Yeah.
At such a young age, and you know she's been in this industry for quite some time. But just kind of like the effects that it had on our childhood and what dance had on our childhood. But she also opened up with us about her anxiety and panic attacks, which was so awesome that she felt so like vulnerable and open enough to talk about that with us. And we also dove into her new song called Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Which if you've not listened to it, go do yourself a favor and listen to it, because the lyrics to this song are insane. Yeah,
but you better be ready to be in your feels.
Yeah, in your feels. In the episode, we talk about what she wrote it about. And yeah, it's such a good song.
Yeah, she's very talented.
I loved it.
But yeah, hope you enjoy the episode as much as we enjoyed talking to Kenzie, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
All right. Toodles. Kenzie, thank you so much for being here with us today on The Squeeze. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Before we get going, I just want to get it out because I just feel like I got to get it off my chest. I have been watching you on TV since I was like a child myself.
No way. Thank you.
I remember it.
Same here. So
I did not plan on telling this story, but I
don't even know what you're about to say right now. I thought you were just going to intro the game.
No, sometimes I just pull things out of my sleeve. I remember being at an award show. Oof. I think it was MTV Movie Awards.
Okay.
Did you ever go to those back in the day?
I don't think so. I went to a lot of like Kids Choice Awards, Teen Choice Awards.
Teen Choice Awards. It was Teen Choice Awards. Yes. Surfboards.
Yes.
That we have wrapped up in bubble wrap in our garage right now.
Yeah. And finding out, like, I saw that you and your sister were there, and I was big fans of yours, and I like asked somebody, I was like, can I, please meet them? And I asked somebody to make it happen. It didn't happen.
Oh
so
my gosh.
This is, dreams do come true.
Well, that's very sweet. My sister and I have always been a big fan of yours as well. So that's a really cool moment.
I love this for you, hon.
Warm and fuzzy. I mean, that was probably like actually 2000, 10, 11,
Oh.
12.
Yeah.
So definitely like over 10 years ago.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So crazy.
Okay, you weren't a kid then, but
Yeah. Okay. I was a young adult.
Yeah.
I was gonna let you have it, but
All right. Anyways, we start each episode with a segment called Citrus Got Real. And in this beautiful glass jar full of lemons and questions, we have some random questions. And if you don't mind, could you pull one for us?
Absolutely.
And they are, you'll see.
I feel like, did I grab two? No.
There's very long pieces of paper.
Got it. Wow.
Oh no, what is it?
This is a deep one.
What?
oh, normally they're not.
I mean, it's not that deep. What do you define as success?
Ooh. Unless you love that one.
I mean-
that's typically not our citrus.
Well,
Got
then
Real
I'll pick
questions.
another one.
Yeah,
but I
let's
guess
do that.
like I would say like happiness is like
For
for
sure.
me.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I will pick
It's
another
usually
one.
like hot dog or hamburger.
Got
and
it.
you got, what do you define
Well,
as success?
good start, I guess. Your dream career versus your actual career.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a cool one. Honestly, I just moved into like my first house and I have been like so into interior design.
Yeah.
So I
Ooh.
feel like I'd be an interior designer.
Oh my gosh.
Like-
What is like is there like a style? I feel like it's so hard to like define a style of your home right now, but
I'm very eclectic. Like I love
love that.
going to vintage stores and like
Yeah.
getting decorations that are like $2 and it just looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like I just love eclectic things. So
I love
yeah.
that.
I want to do more like vintage and thrift shopping.
Yeah. I
It's a
know.
fun time.
I see our
you
friends
love
like,
an antique
post
store.
about it. Yeah. And it just looks so fun.
Do you have a career that you would want?
I've always said that, you know, I'd be an NFL player.
Wow.
I grew up playing a lot of sports, but football is one that I biasedly think that I was pretty good at. So yeah, or even if I could go back in time and just like play one college football game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
In Michigan. That
Yeah.
would have been fun for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what mine would be. Because I feel
thought
like
you
mine's-
I thought you might say the same thing as her.
Yeah, I am
So
enjoying that.
You've been doing a lot of that recently.
Yeah, we're building a house and I'm literally like doing everything from like hardware, materials, plumbing,
That's a
appliances.
dream.
It is fun. It is. It's kind of a lot because it's crunch time, but
Yeah, I'm sure it's stressful.
yeah, but it's cool because we get to like really make it our own, like down to like the paint, the countertops, how high the backsplash goes, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
What would mine be? I mean, it's kind of in the same field-ish. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard because like my career like was nursing and now I'm doing this. But I would say like editing, like a film editor. I
Cool.
love editing stuff, but I don't edit our podcast, but I love editing. So that would maybe be mine.
You have always said that.
That's
Yeah.
a cool one.
It's so fun for
Mm,
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be mine.
Okay. There we
Yeah.
go. An interior designer and a film editor and a professional football player.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of something cool that we could all do together, but then yours kind of throws it off.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so one of our sponsors for this episode is Regain Couples Therapy by BetterHelp. And I just absolutely love that they are a part of our show because therapy has played such a big role in our lives individually and together as a couple. And I think couples therapy is just so important, even before it's like, wow, we need therapy. It's good to
Yeah, it
just
should be a
have that.
proactive thing. You
Yeah.
shouldn't like you shouldn't wait till the wheels are falling off the cart.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to just have in your relationship from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're interested in it, if you're having any ups and downs in your relationship right now, you guys should check out Regain Couples Therapy. I think it's just, a good thing for
All of us.
couples, relationships, people to do. And the best relationships are always worth fighting for. So try something new in therapy. You can visit regain.com/thesqueeze today and get 10% off your first month. That's regain.com/thesqueeze for 10% off your first month.
Nice.
Enjoy. Let's hop into this. So I just want to say before we start, I think, people that are in your position hold such a unique, not stance, but the way you're able and the way you do, you're honest, you know, about your mental health and what you're going through is so unique, because I feel like for your generation and the younger generation too, watching you and seeing, you know, you being open and honest about this stuff and, you know, going to therapy or whatever it may be helps to just break down the stigma that's behind mental health even more. So we're just so happy, you know, to have you here. And just want to applaud you for doing that, because, you know, it's not easy and it can definitely be scary. So yeah, we're just really excited about it.
Yeah, it's huge for this next generation to see people like yourself talking about it like that.
Yeah,
for sure. I think it's more of an open conversation nowadays than it was when I was younger. So
yeah,
definitely.
I love that. Okay, so obviously we wanted to start when you were a kid, being on a reality show at such a young age. You were 6 when you guys started?
Yes.
6 to 12, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't imagine being that young on a reality show. How do you think that affected your childhood? And do you look back and are you like, I didn't have a childhood, or like, how is that?
Yeah, I definitely did not have a childhood whatsoever. I mean, I went to school till I was in 3rd grade and I was homeschooled for the rest of the time. So I never really got to experience like real life school, like high school, going to prom, going to football games. Like I never got to experience that. And all of my friends were my dance friends. Yeah. So it was definitely a really interesting way to grow up. Yeah. But I mean, it helped me a lot, you know, grow up in a way, because I feel like if I was still doing school and still doing what I was doing when I was younger, I definitely wouldn't be as strong of a person, and I don't think I would be as mature, or, you know, I think it definitely helped me out a lot. So
yeah. Do you I don't know how, because you were so young and because like you were dancing on this show, and like I danced my entire life, grew up like competing, everything. I did that, and dance was such like a way for me to express myself. It was my, like, even still to this day, I'll like lock myself in a room and I'll just like move, because that's like how I process things. Was dance able to be that for you?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
It was when I first started, but now, you know, when it was broadcast all over television, and it was really scary for me to dance, because it was on TV, and then I had a dance teacher that was like really scary, and you know, people in the dance world are very like scary as well. I feel like everyone's just competing against each other, even at like such a young age. So it was definitely hard, and I think it definitely I lost my love for dance really early on. So
yeah, I know. I feel like, actually, I was gonna say I've never danced, but I did. I was on a hip hop team.
Okay.
We traveled and performed at malls and movie theaters every now and then.
That's awesome.
No,
I love this.
He can't count music. He can't count an 8 count to actually save his life. Like, he can tap his foot. I'm like, okay, just put a number on there.
Right.
Yeah. But that's not what they used me for. Everybody would be doing the cool dancing, and then I was the guy that would just run across in the middle of the performance and do a flip. And then they're like, okay, now you stay over there until we like call your name again.
That was usually me too. When I was like 7 or 8, I would do a backflip and then like die in the dance. Like that was just my part.
Yeah.
Oh no. So same old.
I got you, girl.
You get me.
This is something I'm so curious about. At that young of an age, were you able to differentiate like what was actually reality and what was manufactured for the show? Because I imagine for somebody that young, that would be pretty tough. Like, is this real? Do they mean that? Or is this, you know?
Like, we watch clips and like, I mean, I watched the show and like, you know, there's people screaming, but then like you and the other kids are actually crying. Like, that's not like, you can't be like, okay, 7-year-old cried. Like, how was that? I mean, your question, but we watched it like play out like
being that young, differentiating what is real and what is, you need for a storyline.
I totally did not understand anything that was going on. And being so young, seeing my mom like fight with other moms was like really crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really like came to terms with how I felt about the whole thing until I got out of it. Because you're kind of just in this bubble and it's just you're from 6 to 12, like that's just your whole life.
Yeah.
Like the main parts of your life where you remember a lot of things. So yeah, I don't think I really even thought about it when I was on the show. Like, oh, this is what's real and what's fake. Like,
It's crazy.
I mean, how could you like trying to like explain that to a kid too?
So, segue, bizarre question. If you were, this is me being a fan. I'm literally just fangirling right now. If you were a consultant to a production team on a reality show with children, what advice or what would you tell that production team to implement onto that show, for the crew and production that maybe you wish would have been implemented like onto your show?
Wow, that's a crazy question. I honestly think a lot of we were really close with a lot of the production and the crew and
I imagine.
because they were with us for a really long time, but I think they forgot that we were children a lot, because we grew up so quick. But there were some times where it was like, okay, this is a little too much. Like this is competing every single week, learning a dance in 3 days, but also like going from dance class to like 8 a.m. to then we'd have regular dance class after we would film. So it was like we'd just be we were exhausted.
You had dance class on top of filming?
Yeah, so when we did school, we had school for 3 hours, homeschool. Okay. And then we would go to dance class, film, and then right after that was regular dance class till 10 at night.
Wow.
And I think that's where it was like, we loved dance so much, but when you do it so much,
burnout. And
when you do it for so many hours, it was like, guys, we need a break.
Yeah.
And I think they understood that in the later seasons, but I think, just remembering that
kids are kids.
Kids are kids, and kids are allowed to feel tired and kids are allowed to feel some type of way. So.
Yeah. Dang, that's so true. I actually, when you were talking, I do realize that I think obviously dance is different. I did it differently, than you kind of had to, but I went to college for dance and I ended up like dropping out of like having dance be my major after one semester because it was that I was overworked and I started like having to dance like for a grade. I was like, I don't want to do like tondus and like get scored on this.
Right.
Like I don't want to be graded on dance. And I was being so overworked and I was like, I need to like leave this before I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, I was an adult and was able to actually like process that and make that decision.
Totally.
But I was going to say something that I feel like that I'm thankful for that you had, filming as a kid was they still like did games and like I feel like you still had a childhood even though you filmed.
Yeah, even though it was like on a set or during lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Did have usually always had good people around us that kept it fun and playing games with the kids.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
We did as well just because there were so many young girls on the team and we were actually like one of my best friends was like a lighting guy on the show. Like and he would play with me all the time. Like it was we were all just like we would have to travel for so long and we would honestly have the best time.
Yeah.
It was just when the cameras were up. It was just like a lot.
Yeah.
But we had our fun moments, of course.
Yeah,
I bet.
For sure.
Was mental health a thing then? Like, because
No.
I'm just like thinking back on like all of you kids and like being where you are now. Like, was that even like ever thought about or talked about?
No.
Yeah.
I was known as the crybaby on the show because I would just break down anytime I was stressed or anxious.
Yeah.
And I found out after the show, I was like, oh, I have the worst anxiety. And I like no one ever really talked about it with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not a thing.
That led me into my next question is when, like, I know you've talked about, anxiety, your panic attacks. Did that first start on the show?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was.
Right.
When were you like, oh, this is like, I'm actually dealing with something here. It's not just like something weird that I'm feeling.
I think when I got off the show,
Okay.
when I was around, I left the show when I was 12, but I think I started going to therapy when I was 14 because I thought I was the only one dealing with this, and I would disassociate a lot. Yeah, I just would be in the car and I would just be like, I am so out of it. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I got told that I had anxiety and I was like, wow, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, dang.
This might be impossible to say because you were so young, so maybe you just don't know, but do you think that your anxiety stemmed from being on the show in that, young of age and everything? Or do you think it would have been a part of your life no matter what route, your young childhood would have looked like?
I think it did stem from the show.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just being so stressed all the time that I wasn't good enough, or
Yeah.
I had to be better than my sister was like the main
Constant
topic of the
comparison.
show.
Yeah.
And if I messed up, that was like the end of the world. So I really think
Yeah.
a lot of, even like all of the cast members, like we all kind of deal with that type of anxiety and mental health things. And yeah, it's all from the show.
Yeah. You and your sister are so close.
Mhm.
And, that I remember that was such a big thing. Like a part, you're all put against each other, but like putting like you guys against each other. How have you like not, I don't know if it has affected your relationship, but is it something you guys like talked about, or is it like you knew it was like it was dumb and you just forgot about it? Like how has that like not affected you guys?
Well, when we were on the show, we hated each other.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because we were with each other 24/7.
Yeah.
So it was like we're constantly being put up against each other,
Yeah.
and we also have to like go sleep in the same apartment. Like, it was not fun.
Yeah.
But I think the second Maddie moved out when she was 18, we just became best friends.
Yeah.
Because it was no longer a competition. It was like, oh, we can actually just enjoy
Yeah.
our time together.
I love that.
Yeah.
That
Thanks.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of comparison, social media. Social media is dangerous and scary, dealing with hate and negativity and comparison as an adult. I can't imagine. I also joined social media very late to the game. I can't imagine growing up and having to deal with that, as a kid. How was that for you, the social media side? And were there any like boundaries that you had to set, or what, any tips or tricks that helped? Because I can't imagine dealing with more comparison, more hate, on top of real life, but now, in the social media era.
Yeah, I think now Instagram, you have to be like 13 to be on it, but beforehand you weren't. So I was on
wow.
Instagram when I was 8 years old.
Holy crap.
And since our show was so big at the time, like our Instagrams grew very, very quickly, and we had a lot of fun times. We would talk to our fans constantly, and it was like really lighthearted and fun. But I think once I grew up and I was off the show, I was still being watched, and I was still growing up and figuring out who I was. So like a lot of things would like get leaked of me when I was younger, or like, it would be like the end of the world, Kenzie's doing this and this and this. And I was like, I feel like every teenager goes through this, but mine is just on the internet. So it was very, very hard for me. I deleted my Instagram like a lot of times because I just couldn't handle it. But I think now I am so used to it because I've just been on it for so long that it doesn't really affect me anymore. Just because most of the time they're just like people that want something to do. They're just bored and they don't actually mean it.
Yeah.
So
you do become somewhat numb to it.
Absolutely.
Of course, there's things that'll rub you the wrong way, but you definitely get to a point where you just realize that somebody's having a bad day.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, and good for you for like just deleting the app because like, you know, I feel like a lot of people need to do that and they don't like have the willpower to do that. So good for you for wanting to do that. Do you have stuff like boundaries kind of that you've set now, or are you just like, I'm kind of like
In a healthy spot with it.
Yeah.
I think now I'm more private.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would say everything just about my life and just I would go on Instagram Live and just rant about a bunch of things. But I think now, like, I'm keeping my friendships more private. I'm keeping my relationship more private. I just want to have like a piece of me, you know, just to myself. So.
Yeah. I love that.
Mhm.
I relate to that. Okay. Who knew that a better pillowcase was all that we needed for a better night's sleep?
I did. I
Like,
do.
You do now.
I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With who?
Because I've been blissing with Blissy.
Oh my goodness. Who let him read the ads? No, just kidding. Taylor is always warm at night. That is like honestly the biggest struggle of us sleeping, especially when we share a bed, which is
The fight
every
for the
night.
temperature. It's like she's always cold, I'm always warm. We get it.
Yeah. And this Blissy pillowcase helps him stay cool. And me too, because I feel like your heat just kind of makes me
It
warm
does
throughout the night.
radiate. Yeah.
But it's time to upgrade your sleep to Blissy's award-winning 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. The holidays are just around the corner.
Great
They have
gift.
so many different like prints, colors, everything. It's a perfect gift for a guy because I know guys can kind of be a little hard to shop for the holidays. And if your man sleeps warm or even just is looking to hydrate his skin and keep his hair looking good, then it's the perfect pillowcase for it.
Yeah.
You can try it risk-free for 60 nights at blissy.com/thesqueeze to get an additional 30% off. That's BLISSY.com/thesqueeze and use code thesqueeze to get an additional 30% off. Give yourself the gift of a good night's sleep with Blissy. Get blissin', as Taylor would say. I want to talk about your new song. Congrats.
Thank
Anatomy
you.
Very
is
good.
out. Oh my
Very good.
I'm genuinely actually saying this. I'm not just saying this because we're on a podcast. When I listened to it, I was like, I got like tears in my eyes. Like I was like, oh, the lyrics are like, they're so good.
Thank you.
I was literally like, whoa.
She was
like,
very excited to show me.
I did.
That's so
I was really
sweet.
excited. I was like, you have to read the lyrics.
Yeah. She's
I pulled it up
"Listen
on
to it."
Spotify. I
She's
was like,
listen
read
to
them.
it while you read the lyrics. I'm like, okay, chill. And then I was like, okay, got it. I understand why you're saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you
Really
so
moving.
much.
Yeah. So congrats on that. But obviously I know what the song is about, but what made you like want to write that? Like where did the idea come from?
Yeah. So you guys know it's about me growing up without my father present, and same kind of thing like the show. I never really came to terms with it. When I was younger, I would make jokes about it and just be like, haha, I have daddy issues. Like it's normal. But I think the second I turned 18, I was like, wow, this actually really affects me in a lot of ways. And I was finally comfortable talking about it with people. And so I just decided to write a song. But the reason I decided to write the song was because my therapist was talking to me about it, and she was like, you should write a letter to your dad.
Oh.
And
Oh, wow.
and not obviously not send it to him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't really like writing letters.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm going to do that. So I just ended up writing a song and sending it to her and be like, okay, here's my letter to my dad. And she was like, wait, this is actually like really amazing. And I played it for a lot of people, and everyone was like, this is going to help a lot of people. Like you should do it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I did it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you don't need to answer this, but do you have a relationship like with like what was it growing up, and is there one now?
Well, my parents got divorced when I was 4.
Okay.
So I don't really remember time before that, obviously. But it was tricky because we were in LA and he was in Pittsburgh. So we never really got to see him. And then it got to a point where it was just like, he's not present, so there's no point.
Yeah.
I think now, after hearing the song, he's definitely trying.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we've always just had a weird dynamic. But I'm honestly like okay now. I feel even just releasing the song and seeing like everyone's reactions, and also people saying I am in the same boat. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like at peace now. So
Yeah.
it was the
Wow.
best thing I could have ever done. Yeah.
Wow. I'm
I
happy
love
for
that.
you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah. Was it like before you put it out, were you like, am I really like gonna do this right now? Like, were you scared?
Imagine that was
terrified.
terrifying, yeah.
Well, because I have to explain it to my family members as well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, who, like, did you play it for like your sister or your mom first, and like, what were their reactions to it?
I played it for my sister first. I was really nervous to play it for my mom, obviously,
bet.
because like, and my mom is like the most sweet. I feel like she would feel responsible,
Yeah.
which it's not her fault at all. But my sister, I sent it to her. I just texted it to her with no context, and she FaceTimed me like she could not speak. She was like weeping, and then
Oh my gosh.
and then she was like, "Okay, I need to go."
I'm
And
like getting teary eyed, like imagining this like out in my head right now, because you know, like she went through it too, you
Yeah.
know. So I bet
It's-
like that,
yeah,
like
something such like a bond
Mm-hmm.
between the two of you.
yeah,
yeah, it's basically our song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And what was your mom's reaction to it?
Oh my gosh. She was driving me around, and I sometimes just like put on a song of mine just to be like, here you go, like let's listen to it.
Yeah,
And I put it on for her, and she was a wreck.
Oof.
She was a wreck. But she was like, this is the most beautiful song I've ever heard you do. And she supports me, and yeah, it's
It
awesome.
really is just so raw
yeah.
and vulnerable and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A few of like the lyrics in the song, like you talk about like dating shitty people because of like how your mom was treated. The lyric about like your nose, that one, I literally, my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
In like writing about it now, looking back, did you have like those moments where you were like, oh, like I'm dating crappy people, maybe that like is a direct correlate? Like not that like coming to that, I mean, I feel like people who are in their like 40s don't even figure that out, like that pattern, and you're 19. Like that's so crazy that you're like able to do that. But what was that moment like where you're like, oh, my dating is kind of a reflection here?
Well, like I said, I never really talked about it. So that writing session I had was like the first time I fully talked about everything and like came to terms with everything. Like,
Wow.
so much was just coming up. And I also think I write with these two girls that are very close to me, and so it just felt natural. But we were all like sobbing. It was like
I can
the
only
best
imagine
moment.
if
Yeah.
I'm getting teary-eyed listening to the song. I can't imagine what it was like, you guys writing it in a room. And
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, a lot of things were coming up that I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like
Yeah.
I date horrible people because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say that writing room is like probably better than any therapy you could get.
Absolutely, yes.
That's
Yeah.
probably.
You should still go to therapy, everyone. If
Yes,
you're in
absolutely,
it, still
yes.
give it a chance.
But I was just imagining that writing room with your two friends and just like diving into that and writing that song. Like I'm sure that was just incredible weight, lifting.
And
just-
processing
sure.
time and
Yeah.
Of course, like therapy is amazing, but having like your two close friends just like understand you was just like a big moment
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. That's great.
Dang.
Congrats. and
you.
yeah.
Everybody go listen to the song because it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
I think, I mean, we touched on it, but it's definitely going to help. Like a lot of people, it's so relatable. Like, even though my parents are still married, like it's relatable, and like, it just helps people know you on a certain level, but also helps people, cope and maybe work through their own thing. Like if Kenzie can do it, that like I can do it too, or something. And that's,
Yeah.
I feel like we forget that sometimes, that, cause we're just living our lives, but like, and I feel like I'm like, why would people like look up to me in that regard or look to me for stuff? But it's important for us, like in with these platforms that we have to do good with it. And that's exactly what you're doing with this song.
Oh,
so
thank you.
congrats to that.
It's called Anatomy.
Yes.
Anatomy. Go listen
Should we-
and read the lyrics as you're listening.
Read them, yes.
or watch the music video that her sister
Oh,
choreographed.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, it's very good. Okay, should we do our Lemon 11?
Let's do it. Okay.
Ooh.
We have a game called Lemon 11. There's 11 questions. They can be rapid fire if you feel like, an explanation is needed. However, you take it
Whatever you're
you
feeling
want.
in the moment when you hear the question,
Cool.
just
Yeah. Okay.
you start because you do the odd numbers. That's
All
how
right.
we keep track of the numbers.
Love it.
Number 1. What movie or song title best describes your mental health today?
Ooh.
Movie or song?
I think Good Days by SZA. I'm like
Ooh.
really
Hey,
happy.
I
great
love
song.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
That is a good one.
That made me happy. Number 2 is how open are you with people in your life when struggling?
I think I'm very open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. With the people that I love. Yes.
Yeah.
With your close circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Very healthy. Number 3. What is your favorite part of your morning or night routine?
If you don't have a routine, it's okay to skip
No.
this question because some people don't have a routine at all.
I think just doing my skincare.
Mm.
It's like a
Yeah.
nice form of self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very relaxing.
Yeah.
That like right before bed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I don't really have a...
It's so annoying. He has such nice skin and does literally nothing.
They just put water on
Yeah.
their face and that's it.
He'll
don't
wash
know.
it sometimes in the shower because I have the face cleanser in there. He's like, ooh, let me do a little bit of this.
I
Right.
do love the Osea. Yeah.
That's about it. Number 4 is, we can just rewind this interview, but number 4 is how has your career impacted your well-being? We can do like a fun little
Yeah.
sound and just like start.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That writing session I had was like the first time I fully talked about everything and like came to terms with everything. Like
Wow.
so much was just coming up. And I also think I write with these 2 girls that are very close to me. And so it just felt natural. But we were all like sobbing. It was like,
I can
the
only
best
imagine
moment.
if
Yeah.
I'm getting teary-eyed listening to the song. I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it was like you guys writing it in a room. And
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, a lot of things were coming up that I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like
Yeah.
I date horrible people because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say that writing room is like probably better than any therapy you could get.
Absolutely, yes.
That's
Yeah.
probably...
You should still go to therapy, everyone. If
Yes,
you're in
absolutely,
it, still
yes.
give it a chance.
Number 5. What would you say is the most misunderstood thing about you?
I think that I'm stuck up.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think that.
Really?
Just because of my life growing up.
Right.
Just because I've had a lot given to me,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
But I am like the opposite. I'm completely the opposite.
Yeah, you don't have that vibe
Was-
about you at all.
Thank you. I think before people meet me, of course, just seeing me on social media. But yeah, I'm like the biggest like people pleaser. I love everyone. Like,
Yeah.
so
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah. Very down to earth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Number 6 is what is the best advice you've ever received, or what advice are you happy you didn't take?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. The best advice I've ever received. I once got advice basically telling me just do whatever you want to do, and if you want to do things that people don't like that's fine. Like it was really empowering. It was really nice. And then I was like, okay.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the worst advice I've ever been given though that I haven't.
Yeah. I know. I was trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a movie that someone was like, do this
Yeah.
movie, and then it didn't do good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. That is a tough one. Okay. Moving on. Number 7. What does wellness look like to you?
Ooh, like a nice bath, relaxation, or even like yoga.
Okay.
That's like, I feel like that's just like me time,
Yeah.
relaxing time.
Yeah, for sure.
You two would
Yeah.
hit it right off
Yeah.
with all of these
I
answers.
want you guys to adopt me. So that's very good.
I think Taylor would be okay with that. I would as well, but I think Taylor would lead the march on that one.
Sign me up.
Number 8 is what is your relationship with social media, and do you think it affects your well-being?
Right now, my relationship with social media is very good actually because I take a lot of time off of it. And I think it affects me in good ways and bad ways. I
For
think
sure.
obviously there's so much hate in the world still to this day, which is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I try not to look at that stuff, and I honestly just look at the positives, and I get so much love and support from a lot of people that have been supporting me my whole life. So yeah, I have a good relationship with it.
Love that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
What are we on? Number 9. What is your favorite form of self-care?
I love to surround myself with people, and I've always been that way, but I think recently I've found out that I need alone time.
Yeah.
So even just like being home alone and just like watching a movie, hanging with my animals
Yep.
is a good time.
Yep. Yeah, Girl Tay's very adamant about her me time.
I'm an only child, so I grew up alone, and I've recently, like within the past year or so, figured out that that's how I like process things and like need to work through things. So Taylor was just gone for like 4 days, and obviously I missed him because
I knew you were loving
we
it.
are best friends and we do everything together. And you are my favorite person to be with. But I will say it was very nice. I think I left the house once, but I literally just had like silence the entire time. And he came home and I was like, I'm refreshed.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I processed my thoughts and my things and I cleaned a bunch. And
No, I knew that was going to be good for you.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I'd have been like crying every day.
oh my gosh, you were having fun. Calm down. You were with the boys.
No, I meant if I was the one.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I'm at an event for too long and you're like, hi.
Where are you?
I love it though. I would never change it.
I love that.
Number 10 is who has had the most positive impact on your mental health?
I think my sister.
I love
That's
that.
great.
I think because we relate on a lot of things and we both go through the same things. And so it's nice to have someone so close to you just like fully understand how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never even like thought about that. That like you guys went literally through everything together. 'Cause,
Everything.
Like Taylor and his sister are close, but you know, she doesn't do that. So like you guys can't really like, obviously she can like empathize with you, but she didn't go through that. But you guys literally went through everything together.
You didn't think about that?
I don't know. I don't have a sibling, so I don't think about other siblings and things. So no, I didn't until right now.
Okay. Well,
You want to ask
learn
your last
something new
question,
every day.
Mr. Sassy Pants?
yeah, sure. Number
You
11.
feel like you had to call me out because I said that you would miss me after a couple hours?
Yeah, you literally just told the world that I'm sending hi texts when you're at an event too long.
You're just checking in on me, making sure I'm okay.
Yep.
Making sure I walk to the car with someone or have you on the phone. You're just checking in.
Yep.
Because
That's a
you
good
care
thing.
about
That's
me
a
and you
great
love
thing.
Okay. All right. Now that I'm blushing. Last but not least, number 11. If you could go back to one moment in your life, what moment would that be, and what would you say to yourself?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a deep one.
I think that's a hard question. I think I would go back to when I was on the show and just tell myself it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little baby Kenzie.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thanks for joining us today.
This
was
was
so
It
fun.
was so fun.
I'm ready to like adopt you now.
Yay.
Right? I know.
I'll bring the papers.
Where's the papers?
Sign on the dotted line.
Perfect.
How good was that? Wow. Thank you so much, Kenzie. We are so honored to have you. Thank you for feeling comfortable. Comfortable. Difficult word to say today, apparently. What day is it? Yeah, but thank you for feeling vulnerable and safe enough in this squeezy space.
Yeah.
To chat with us. That was super cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yes, as always, you can email us at lautner.thesqueezepodcast@gmail.com for any guest ideas, anything for our advice column.
Anything you'd like.
Anything you dream of, let us know. Yeah, I think that's, you can follow us on all the things if you're not already. Make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our content when we post it.
Please do.
And I hope you guys have a marvelous rest of your week. And
We'll see you next Wednesday.
right back here
Squeeze
next Wednesday.
out.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.